OK, well, we're now going to a survey which has suggested that the majority of you say manufacturing to the country is hugely important because it is the future of the economy.
Well, in the meantime, lockdown restrictions, fierce war in Ukraine have reminded us of the importance of producing what we need here in the UK, instead perhaps of relying on supply from overseas. So
we'd like to know this morning, should we be doing a bit more to support manufacturing from Britain? By British and only British, OK? Let's speak to a couple of guests on this one now. Conservative councillor Matthew Goodwin-Freeman, who believes we should only buy British. And Alex Petropoulos, who's a political commentator from Young Voices UK, who believes we shouldn't. Good morning to you both. Let's start with the argument against, though, because I think most of our audience will probably be waking up to this morning thinking, absolutely support British where we can. And that's you, Alex.
You know, we really should. When you say it out loud, buy British. Hello.
Hi.
When you say buy British, it sounds all good. But when you look at the reality of where we are right now, you have to say, look, we're living in a cost of living crisis. Prices are going up. And saying buy British is just code for saying buy more expensive products. And it's really code not just for buy more expensive products, but force the British people to buy more expensive products. What this debate is all about is about giving people choice and letting people, you know, have the ability to choose and make up their mind and say, you know, I think this product is actually better, whether or not it's made in Britain. I don't think it's appropriate in a cost of living crisis.
But Alex, is it really more expensive because, you know, the employment that it generates, the taxes that it generates that go back into the economy today, and the simple fact that it's probably the right thing to do almost morally?
Well, you know, I think that you could frame it like that, but when you're framing it like that, you're saying, should we help this one very small group of manufacturers and this one very small group of businesses, or should we be looking out for the whole country? And, you know, there might be some marginal benefits from taxation, but at the end of the day, if it was cheaper to buy British, people would be doing it already. And if it was better for the economy, they'd be doing it already.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it, Matthew Goodwin-Freeman? Unless you're absolutely loaded, it's not that easy to support British business and industry.
Well, I mean, to an extent that is true, because the manufacturing breakdown shows that the UK only produces 2% of the world's manufacturing, and China is up there at 29%, and the US are at 17%. So we're completely right that if we want to get buying British, made in British, we've got to scale up. So that's why we look at stuff like levelling up. That's £11 billion of investment in levelling up and bringing opportunity around the country. And last month, the government announced £33 million into British jobs for the future and looking at green jobs. I completely agree that if we're looking right here, right now, yes, British products and British goods are going to be slightly more expensive than others that can be imported from elsewhere. But we need to look at the future. We need to look at our future, because the war in Ukraine, everything that Russia's done, and our reliance on China has proven that we've got to get back to made in Britain. And it was one of the first things I said when I ever came on this on GB News. I said, I want to see made in Britain come back again.
OK, but Matthew, you say look at the future, but I could just bring you back to the past. And in the early 70s, there was a whole Buy British campaign. There were adverts on television. There were stickers that you could put on your car to say, I'm buying British. And it was almost a badge of shame if you bought a Fiat or a Citroen as opposed to an Austin or a Morris or something like that. What I'm trying to say is, they've tried it before, it didn't go anywhere. Why did it not go anywhere? Probably because, as Alex was saying, it's probably too expensive.
Well, this is the thing. If we want, you know, British products to be cheaper than the market, we need to stop outsourcing ourselves to everywhere else in the world. We need to start building new factories here in the UK, putting focus here on the UK, encouraging people in the UK to take British jobs, fill those vacancies. We've talked before about the 1.5 million job vacancies, but the 1 million people on benefits, we could fill that overnight and get British people in British jobs. You know, it's going to take time to get Britain up from 2% to 29%. But we can do that. We absolutely can do that, because if we don't try, we'll never know. And that's the thing. We can't doubt this country. We've got to look forward with aspiration.
Yeah, and just a final thought from you, Alex, in all of this. I mean, you talk really about how kind of the bottom line comes ahead of morality in a way. But there is another option, isn't there? I mean, if the only place that you can get affordable goods is from these sort of global companies that are dodging tax here in the UK, and you don't want to line their pockets, maybe we just buy less stuff. Here's a novel idea. Maybe we just make do and mend a little bit. Maybe less ends up in landfill. Maybe that's the right thing to do for Britain as well.
You know, you could be right there. But I think that, you know, the opponent was right to say we should be aspirational for Britain. We should want Britain to do its best. But I think that forcing people to buy British now would be doing exactly the opposite of that. Because let's be honest, we aren't the best at building everything. And we shouldn't set ourselves this false illusion that we can do everything and we can just go back to the past how it was. It's not the past anymore. We can't go back to being this incredible manufacturing nation. We can do it for some really key areas, and we can invest in those areas.
Gentlemen.
And so when you say buy British now, you're saying really that British people should settle for less, and that the British people should settle for a current system that is currently just a bit inadequate to be buying British.
OK, guys, got to leave it there. Buy British, for or against this, let us know. gbviews@gbnews.com. Matthew and Alex, really appreciate what you had to say. Mark